Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is the day where we finally revisit Rush. And today we're going to be looking at YYZ, which those of you guys that have been watching my videos, the first reaction video I did of a song, not necessarily like drumline or anything like that, was Tom Sawyer by Rush. I think that was the first one. And I mentioned then that obviously I wanted to revisit Rush because I hadn't really analyzed it with a practiced eye and a practiced ear, but I think I mentioned that I had only really listened to two songs by Rush, which was Tom Sawyer and this one. So, full disclosure, this is not my first time listening. These were the songs that I would listen to, which was Tom Sawyer and YYZ, and that was like kind of the extent of my Rush knowledge, minus a Neil Peart solo that I had found back then that I would listen to quite a bit, and it really influenced my soloing on drum set, much to the dismay of my jazz instructor. That being said, for those of you guys that are new or haven't really watched any of my content, this is going to be a reaction / analysis video. So what does that mean? That means that yes, I'm going to be reacting to a lot of what I see. Obviously, it's been a long time since I've heard it, so I've forgotten a lot of what it is, a lot of what the song entails, but at the same time I'm going to be listening to the song, and I'm going to be talking about things that I really like that they're doing. I'm going to kind of analyze it from a musical standpoint. That being said, time for the mandatory disclaimer. Like I said, this is a reaction / analysis video, which means I'm going to be pausing the video quite a few times to give my thoughts and reactions and analysis and all that jazz. So if you're one, like I said, if you're one of those people, probably best to skip this one. If you want to watch the song, the video, this, of Rush performing this uncut, unedited, zero commentary, I will leave the link to this video in the description below. Here we go. The triumphant return of Rush to the channel in the form of YYZ. Rush makes me nervous because, for a lot of reasons, some that I don't wish to discuss, but they do. I love the audience response already. One, two, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. It feels like, odd meters, how do you even just jam out to that? But you do. Nice unison hits. Nice. Yeah, I get it. I have I have a thing for double crashes. They're just jamming out. How can you not? It's such a driving song, you can feel it. This is one of the only times I've felt simple meter, but they go hard. You feel it even more than their odd time signatures. Oh, here we go with that Neil Peart cymbal pattern that I mentioned in La Via, I think. Yes. I love this juxtaposition here in the melodies. Okay, I'm gonna pause right here. So, as is Rush, a lot has already happened and I have a lot to cover, so bear with me. So we can't talk about YYZ without talking about that introduction. So a long time ago, when I first heard this song, I was really curious about the time signature. And I'll tell you why. It was when I first started getting into odd time signatures, and I could feel a certain time signature from me. And I think it's because I listened mainly to Neil Peart then. What I used to feel back then was a 7/8 followed by 9/8, followed by a 2/4 bar, which, listening to it as a whole now, I feel it. It's a 5/4 bar with a 16-note pattern. Feels like obviously it's not 9/8 and 7/8 because they're 16th notes, not 8th notes. But the inner beats, especially when he starts off the ba 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 da ba 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 ba, it gives you the impression of a fast 7/8, 9/8, 7/8, 9/8, 2/4, whatever it is. It gives you that impression. But then when everybody comes in together, then you can really feel a 5/4 bar because you feel a definite pulse. Now, I had read somewhere that the introduction, they got that from the Morse code of YYZ, which I think is their hometown. I think whenever they were on flights, that's the code or something. I don't fly a lot, so I don't really know what all that is about, but I think from what I remember, they kind of like heard that, and that's why they introduced it here as a song. Like, to build a whole song out of something that you heard is near the top of creativity for me. But then afterwards, obviously you had the unison hits all together where Neil was on cymbals, and the unison feel continues throughout. There are some, I guess I'll call them fills for lack of a better term, but they're all together. Geddy and Alex have runs, I think they are, on the bass and the guitar, and Neil kind of follows that up with his orchestration of different drums, mostly on the snare drum, but it's still a unison feel. And then they jump into what I'll call like the first verse. I'm not exactly sure what the technical term is, but they jump in and they're all still, well, not all of them. Neil's providing a really nice pocket groove, which goes really hard. I mentioned like most of the songs that I've heard are in odd meter times, and right here and that first verse, they're in simple time, and it drives. It feels good. So it only makes sense that they're so good timing wise and odd meters that when they hit simple meters, it just nails and driving. It just feels good. But Alex and Geddy are playing unison parts, which is also something they don't usually do, but I think it's really cool because it's establishing motif and melody, which is really cool because then that melody that they play right after the unison, well, I mean, they're all in unison, but when the time kicks in again, that first melody becomes the bass line, although it's altered a little bit later on by Geddy, and then Alex plays another melody on top of it, which just serves as glue but helps build momentum throughout the introduction. It doesn't get stale because of that reason. And I know there's a lot more I could say about that, but I think we need to move on. So let's I mean, there's a lot to talk about with Rush, but let's move on for now. That's such a clean hi-hat. Nice. Get it. Geddy just got a style to him. Beautiful. I love it. It's going so hard. One, two, three, four. Oh, it's 2 bars. 3, 2, 3, 4. 1. That was nice. Okay. Sorry. I know it's really soon for another break, but a lot happened just there, and I want to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about this little section as the call and response section, and I think it's brilliant for a few reasons. Number one, I mean, I think it's the most obvious one, is because it takes a chance to showcase both Geddy and Neil Peart in these moments. And man, like, obviously I know these guys are great musicians, but to see Geddy just flex on that bass, because you don't get to see that a lot. I mean, yes, his melodies and bass lines are complicated. They're more complex than a lot of like basic type of songs that you hear out there. And of course Neil Peart back there with his fills, it's just a technical masterpiece. It's a masterclass in technique and control, which those of you guys that have seen my channel, that have been watching me for some time, I live for like great technique and control and note spacing, which he's doing a fantastic job as always. Just to talk about the structure of this, like the reason I call it the call and response section is because it's situated in phrases, and it's 4-bar phrases. They play 3 bars, and then the 4th bar is like the showcase bar, which I think is brilliant. I think it's really, really cool. And it's like, typically as a drum set player, you kind of do that. You play in phrases, you play pocket groove for a little bit while, and then like after 4 bars or 8 bars, you do a little fill, a little crash, something small. It doesn't necessarily have to be small, but to have a fill every 4 bars is kind of annoying when it doesn't serve the song. But here, that's what it's about. 3 bars, and the 4th bar is a showcase, a fill, but call and response. It's Neil and then Getty, or vice versa, and then it happens twice, I think, that they play these phrases. And on the 5th and 6th time, they give each other 8 bars, which is really neat because it's kind of like a little cap off to that section, and to let you know, hey, we're going on to another section. So that's why it's like bigger, it's more intense. We're gonna hit something new. I don't know, for me, it's just a fun section. Okay, we still got we're only halfway through. We got the rest of the song to get through, so let's keep going. Of course, Alex, I heard him referred to as having the soul of a gypsy something. That's beautiful. His fingers aren't shredding, and it sounds beautiful. I love that. That was a huge toss. I know I've seen him do it before, but jeez, it scares me. I love the change in tone here. And it came from Alex, so that's really, really cool. A really nice pocket groove. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of that driving 4/4 with 2 and 4 backbeat. Okay. I know it's a short song. Pause number 3, but it needs to happen. So in the previous section, we got a lot of Getty and Neil Peart, trading solos and stuff like that, call and response, and I was like, but where's Alex? Poor guy. A lot of you guys say that without Alex, there is no Rush, which I can agree with. But where is he? Poor guy. But no, he gets a whole solo to himself, and I think it's really well done because Neil and Getty are providing the same kind of driving force for the first part of the solo, I'm going to say, and then Alex comes in and plays a very different type of melody. Like Getty and Neil were playing kind of forceful fills, mini solos, and then Alex comes in and plays a very different feel to it, and it's a beautiful kind of solo. And like I've said in previous videos, I really appreciate these kinds of passion-filled solos much more than the shreddy solos that are just like in your face and just like, dude, what's happening? There's a lot more feeling, a lot more passion, a lot more musicality in Alex's solos, which I've said I really appreciate. But his solo is kind of like a precursor for the next section, where they go into like a breakdown, is what you I guess would call it nowadays. Neil no longer is playing the pocket 1, 2, 3, 4 backbeat. He's moved the backbeat to beat 3, so you get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which gives it that like chill kind of feeling. And then you've got Getty on the synthesizers. I mean, I think it's really cool that Alex played his solo and that influenced the next section, and it really changes the feel of the song. So let's see what happens next. Oh, reintroduction of the melody. Bass guitar and guitar. That was nice. Like an ostinato inside his fill. I like Neil's kick pattern. Back to that right cymbal pattern on the bell, which I really like. Yeah. I love bass players that play with fingers. I think it's so much more impressive. Not trying to dog on anybody. He's got to get tired. He plays fast, Neil. Yes! Ooh, that was slower than the studio version. Nice. Look at all those people. Love it. Get it. Get it. Whew. So I just want to talk about that ending real quick because it's such a well-composed song. Even with a little bow on top towards the end, you get the melody reintroduced to you towards the end, and it feels good. It's like a full circle, like the circle of life. It just comes back around, and it was perfect because you come, you have a big like opening, and then big first verse, and then big moments where the solo section, if you will, and then we come down, which is really nice because it's all big, big, big. And if it was all big in your face all the time, it gets it can get overwhelming. So then we come down at that section, and it provides us with an opportunity to kind of take a step back, appreciate new things right before the melody gets reintroduced to us. It's like, yeah, here it is, it's back. And then we taper off with a little bit of a change for the ending, which I mean, really, really well done. I feel like I end every Rush reaction / analysis video the same way. Like, what else can you say? And I didn't even cover everything that I wanted to cover. Like, there's a lot that I could have said way more, but I think that's as much as can fit into one reaction / analysis video. But there's just so many good things that they do well, and I really appreciate their instrumentals. This is the second instrumental that I cover, I think, right? But just a lot of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you liked it, don't forget to hit that like button. If you enjoy what you're seeing, please do hit that subscribe button so I can know, and that way I can keep on putting out content like this for you guys. But other than that, that's pretty much it for today's video, and so hopefully we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.